We've arrived in Ithilien with a sealed message for Faramir, only to learn that he has gone north to defend Cair from massing enemy forces. Hello and welcome back to the Line Unbroken, my series in which I am playing through each of the scenarios of the Lord of the Rings living card game in turn, using only the cards which were available at the time of the release, in imitation of the existing LTRLCG progression series. Here I am playing the second scenario of the Heirs of Numenor Deluxe expansion into Ithilien. So let's finish off our setup. Add corridors for the staging area. Ithilien Road as the actual location, those are already there. Each player must search the encounter deck for a copy of Southron Company and add it to the staging area. Here they are. Two of them. So Faramir has left a company of rangers in Ithilien tasked on ambushing the Southrons as they march toward Cair. Their captain, Celador, offers to lead you to Cair after the approaching enemy is destroyed. It's a battle quest, and if we complete this stage with Celador in the staging area, we advance to stage 3 and skip stage 2. Which was the first time in the game that there was the option to skip stages of a quest. So that's sort of another thing that they brought in this box. Regardless, let's begin the game. Control N. Okay. So, the thing that I really want at this point is, of course, to clear the Ithilien Road as fast as possible. So I think I'm going to pay 1 for this Snowball Scout to put 1 progress on it. Of course, this does remove Boromir's bonus +1 attack to Gondor allies, which of course applies to Celador since he has the Gondor trait. But that extra 1 point of attack is equivalent to the 1 point of progress, and having the Snowball Scout means I also have a chomp blocker available. Otherwise, I will keep the tactics resources to potentially pay for Famed behind strong walls, or to save up for an Eagles of the Misty Mountains next round. Over here, naturally, I will be putting Light of Valinor onto Glorfindel. And otherwise, I could play Vilja, but actually I think it may be better to hold on to my resources. I mean, Vilja would be a decent play, but I am pretty much not going to use it this round because Elrond only has 1 action and he's going to be questing, because I need to clear the Ithilien Road right away so as not to get immediately engaged with both these southern companies that I can't really deal with yet. So, questing 2, 5, 7, 9, 12, 15 versus 6. Well, not a great start. Deal 1 damage to each character coming to quest. And search. But at least it doesn't have the thing where it shuffles back into the encounter deck anymore as it did when the box was originally released. Little Spider. +1 attack for each character not currently committed to the quest, which is Baragon and the Snowball Scout. So it has 6 attack. And Secluded Glade, so that's added 6 threat. I make 3 progress, which is exactly enough to clear the Ithilien Road. So, this means that I'm not going to lose straight away. I'll travel to the Secluded Glade. Now, Yeah, I think the best plan is going to be to take the Mole Spider here and simply throw the Snowball Scout under the boss. I do have a hasty stroke, but I don't have a resource to pay for it. So deal 1 damage to the defending character. I am now taking 6 attack undefended, which means a dead hero on round 1. Of course, this could have been avoided if I decided to go for one of the options that involved fainting the enemy. Dead hero round 1, so let's just reset. I'm not dealing with that. Alright, let's begin again. You know this, I've read it. This is the kind of stuff that can happen in Ithilien. Okay. Well, I'll put this Spirit of the Citadel onto Baragon for free. And that will be it for this deck. Over here, let's pay 2 for an Envoy of Pelagia, adding a resource to Elrond, and then pay 2 for Ranger Spikes. Since I haven't spent Boromir's resource, Calador and the Envoy have +1 attack. So now let's quest. 6 threat in the staging area. 3, 6, 8, 10, 13, 16, 18. This lands on the range spikes. He also takes the damage from falling. So that's added 5 threat to the staging area for a total of 11. I make 7 progress. Travel to the overgrown trail. And this is looking much better. I don't really want to take these enemies just yet, so Control N. Test of Will, that's handy. So let's put Vilya into play. Oh, let's make it like that, because of course Elrond now has a spirit icon from Vilya. So hold on to the more flexible resources. But that will be it. While over here, let's get this Eagles of the Mystic Mountains out as quick as possible. I might leave it at that. So let's see. Five, 8, 11, 13. Question is, do I want to sneak attack Gandalf? Yes, I think so. Sneak attack Gandalf. Let's see, draw 3 cards or drop my threat by 5. Either could be useful, but I think I'm more inclined to go for an approach where I try to win before I threat out than controlling my threat. So, is that right? 3, 5, 8, 12. Could quest with the eagle. 15, 17. Actually, I will quest with the eagle rather than the envoy, because the eagle is not so vulnerable to blocking wargs. The fairies take a damage from Farman, and Watcher in the Wood. That would be a threat raise of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for each deck. Or I could play a Test of Will. So that's added 2 threat, I make 8 progress. This is going nicely. I don't want to complete stage 1 too fast because there are all these enemies in the staging area. I need to get to the point where I can deal with them so that there can be less of them when I advance to stage 3, which is of course the plan. And because of course on stage 3 I won't be able to engage them, so if they're not dead at that point, firstly it'll be harder to quest through stage 3, and secondly they will all come down to murder me as soon as I hit stage 4. So, Gandalf returns to my hand. If I don't play Valiant Sacrifice, then I'd be able to kill these mercenaries without... oh no, well, that's fine. Valiant Sacrifice. Draw 2 more cards. and lose that attack bonus. So, bring down the mercenaries here. They have archery X, X is the number of players in the game, so 2. Let's just put it on Glorfindel. Calador took a damage when Gandalf left to play. Baragond will defend, dealing 1 damage from the spear. No shadow effect. Elrond is going to use Villiers. Out of the wild. Okay, nice. So, let's look at the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. Okay, of those, I'm fine with the mercenaries, I'm fine with the bat. Blocking wargs is getting added to the victory display. And shuffle the deck. No, 3, 4 attack is enough to kill the mercenaries, thanks to that extra point of damage from the spear. Control N. Another test of will. Fantastic. So, over here, let's play The Eagles Are Coming. Look at the top 5 cards and pull all the eagles into my hand. It's a shame that Support of the Eagles is not an eagle card, because that's the one that I'd really like to boost up Baragond's defense. But, there we go. Right. I don't think I want to lose Boromir's boost right now. The Eagles aren't totally urgent. So I'm going to play this Envoy of Pelagia and add a resource to Elrond. This is somewhat odd that one deck has 11 cards and yet I'm giving the resource to the deck that has 5. But these are some of the more important cards. Because with this additional resource I can now pay 2 for Unexpected Courage on Elrond and still have a spirit resource left for Test of Will. I'll then use Ithilien, Hasty Stroke. I'll put that on the bottom of my deck then. Of course, Stargazer would be very helpful, but I really wanted the Unexpected Courage first, so that Elrond could still have an action after using Villiers. So, once again, there is 7 threat in the staging area. So, 3, 5, 8, 10, 13, 15. Blocking wargs. Good thing I didn't send the envoys. And it surges. Forest bats. They take 1 damage from Ithilien and are thus immediately killed. This is why I left them in the encounter deck. Overgrown Trail, alright. So that's added 4 threat. They make 4 progress. Then travel to the trail. At this point I really should start trying to deal with these companies. Despite their 5 attack at the moment. So yeah, let's bring 1 down over here. Deal it a shadow card. Yes, of course, their engagement cost is 34, and deck 2 is still at 33, so I and still under control of the engagement. Paragon will defend, dealing damage with the spear. Move X progress from the quest equal to the enemy threat, which is currently 3 because it's a battle quest and they gain extra threat. Paragons takes 1 damage, and then 3/5 attack is exactly enough with the extra damage from the spear to kill the company. That spear really doing its job very well. Control N. This has been a fairly gentle start, which with a quest like Into Ithilien makes me worried. But whatever. Okay, so Light of Arnor has finally turned up. In theory, I should now be fairly well set to deal with stuff. But that's in theory. Now, since I had to play Light of Arnor, I still can't play the Stargazer without leaving myself short a test of will, and that is the more pressing concern, so I'm just going to use Villia blindly. It gives another Villia, which will go to the bottom of my deck. See, this is still useful, even though it didn't put something into play. The fact that that was a useless card on top of my deck, now it's on the bottom of my deck, so I won't draw it. And otherwise, let's see, I can play this Mirrorvor. Let's give that to Baragond. Over here, tricky. There's a side note. There's 1 blocking Wards in the victory display and 1 in the discard pile. So there are still a couple more copies to be concerned about. I'm not entirely sure that I want to play anything, because I don't necessarily want to use it. There's an overgrown trail on the top of the encounter deck, so I will play Shadow of the Past. Actually, on the top 2 cards of the discard pile. Another company. Probably want to leave the company. Oh, that bat. Yeah, I could have played Shadow of the Past last round to return the bat, but then it would have been... After Shadow cards had been dealt, I could have returned that bat if I'd thought this through. But, yes. Shadow of the Past. Though, actually, now I think about it, I'll make it this deck that does it. Since both decks had Shadow of the Past available, and I had no other use for those lore resources on Aragon. So, I know that the first card off the deck is an Overgrown Trail. It's not as good as Gildor's Council, but it means I only have 1 unpredictable card. I am, of course, going to have to take this company this round. So, let's see. 3, 6, 8, 10, 13, 16 versus 4, going to be 8 plus 1 more card. Well, doomed 3, and I'm very glad that I saved the resource for a test of will. This is very strange that the Leadership Tactics deck has a handful of cards and the Law Spirit deck has 1. Regardless, 16 versus 8, 8 progress. And enemy player is a threat by X, where X is the attacking enemy's threat. So that's 3 again. Deck 2 is up to 40 threat. Aragon just takes a point of damage. And I have more than enough to kill the company. This does mean that the staging area is fairly clear, which is of course what I want. It's just that the cost in threat has been higher than I'd like to reach this point. Okay, I've finally found a Warden of Healing. I also want to play the Stargazer. And I don't have a means of passing resources across. Steward of Gondor would be nice about now, because I would probably play it on Elrond. Under the circumstances, though, I think I'm going to pay for another Eagles of the Misty Mountains, because they can be useful without needing to leave play. That being a potentially problematic prospect on account of Kelador. I will play Snowball Scout to put 1 progress up there, speed up my questing through. And in fact, let's play both of them. And hopefully I will push through to stage 3 this round. So Elrond will use Vilya blindly. Gandalf. Okay. That is fine by me. Then let's play this Warden of Healing. We'll exhaust to heal Kelador and Beregond. Elrond's healing boost will also be very useful. So, questing. 3, 6, 8 against 1 threat in the staging area. 10, 12, 15, 18, 22, 24. Just for good measure. Reveal Watching the Wood. I do not have a test of will. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. This is probably death. This is why I hate this card. Kelador leaves play because all those characters just left play. And we'll just put him in the victory display because he's removed from the game under these circumstances. And this deck is now at 46 threat. And let me just recalculate my attack power for questing. 3, 5, 7, 9 versus 4. So much for advancing to stage 3. Okay. One, two, three. Oh look, there's Steward of Gondor. Well, under the circumstances, I'm going to play it on Ithilien. Top card of the deck is Lost Companion, so the discard pile rather. So let's put that back and play these two Vassals of the Wind Lord. How much attack? I need 3 attack to kill this. Actually, I need 2 attack to kill it once Baragon defends it. So 3, 5, 7, 10, 13, 14 against 1. Oh look, it's Lost Companion. I removed my Envoy of Pelargir from the quest and make 12 progress. Advancing to stage 2. The Southron army was larger and better prepared than the Rangers anticipated, and now your dwindling company is painfully overmatched. Your only option is a disciplined withdrawal to Caer Andros, before being overwhelmed by the enemy reinforcements hurrying up the road to join the fight. Siege, Archery, X, for X is the number of players in the game, and after this stage is completed, advance to stage 4, bypassing stage 3. Excellent. So, Archery 1. Let's put it on the eagle that has already taken damage. Oh, the quest still has siege keyword, so the company is, of course, still 5 attack. So let's continue to preserve Baragon's hit points. Well, okay. So the Snowman Scout is killed by the Shadow effect, and the undefended attack will kill Tharlin. Baragon and the Eagle will then kill the company. Right. Okay then. So questing. Sneak attack. Gandalf, reducing my threat by 5. Heal quest for 4. 6. 8, 10. 14. Normal spider. Plus 3 attack. I make 10 progress. Alright, I skip stage 3. And arrive on stage 4. The island fortress of Cair Andros rises from the middle of the Anduin. From a distance all is quiet, but as you near the island and night approaches, a raucous cry is heard on the wind. The horns of Mordor sound in response. The enemy is moving on Cair Andros, and the assault will soon begin. You must reach it before all hope is lost. Any player's threat is 37 or higher, which it is. Approaching Cair Andros gains siege, and forced at the end of the round raise each player's threat by 2. That is, of course, in addition to the normal threat gain of 1 in the refresh phase. Gandalf is back in my hand. And let's just do this. And player raises a threat. Okay. And these two will attack and kill the spider. They then leave play and thus are placed underneath this Eagles of the Misty Mountains, which gets plus 2. Oh. Plus 2 attack and defense. Threat is raised by 2. Control N. Right, I have not drawn a sneak attack. This means that I will threat out at the end of the round. So, let's bring in a Winged Guardian. Oh well, let's say that I played an Envoy Pelargir, added the resource to Aragon, and then played the Winged Guardian. One threat. 4, 6, 10, 14, 16. So if I manage to reveal 0 threat, then I will actually win the quest. Lost Companion! I remove my Envoy Pelargir from the quest. That is the reason that I sent her, since she actually has no defense. That is the entirety of staging. 16 defense committed against 1 threat. And I win the quest. That, I really didn't think I was going to win that after Deck 2 threated out. If Deck 2 had not threated out, obviously I had a bunch of options. I could have brought the Imagus Stargazer into play. I could have used Aragorn's threat reset to have some more time. And nice things were coming up to the final test of will. I could have made it through the will past age, because Calador would have still been around. He would have been helpful. All this. And of course on this side, if I hadn't had to kill off Thalin, I would have had more tactics resources to play more Eagles and hopefully beef these up. If I'd ever found support of the Eagles, that would have been nice to boost Baragon to a point where he could defend basically anything without taking damage. This may be the first time I've actually gone to stage 2 of this quest. I think every other time I've played it, I have either successfully gone via stage 3, or gone via stage 3 and then lost on stage 3 or 4, or I've just died on stage 1, or given up on stage 1 by like a round 1 hero death. Those have pretty much been the ways my games have gone. I've never beaten stage 1 with Kelador being dead. So that was a new experience for me, actually, and I definitely appreciate the interesting point which has been made that stage 2 can actually be easier than stage 3, because then you don't need willpower at all. And of course it has less quest points, and 1 point of archery really isn't that big a deal. Of course, in this case, I was somewhat in a position of desperation in any case, so I had to just go all out and hope it worked. But then it did. Yeah, I never saw the 2 Ithilien Guardians turn up. Haradrim Elite. Because they were an argument for not questing with my envoy Pelagia, because then she could have chump blocked one. Whereas, had I revealed one of those instead of Lost Companion, then they would have made the immediate attack, which I would have had to have taken undefended, and that would have killed Boromir, leaving me 2 points short of winning the quest. Oh, no, that's not true. I could have discarded Miravor to ready Baragon and he could have defended. It would have been alright. Yeah. Never saw the Mumak. So that was the thing. Yeah, incidentally, for the curious, since I bypassed stage 3, having helped his rangers scatter the first wave of Haradrim invaders, Kelador leads you north along a hidden trail that runs through Ithilien, but more south runs are marching up the forest road. Now it is a foot race to reach Carandros before the enemy. Yeah, being able to take control of the rangers is handy, but the fact that you can't engage enemies at all, unless you have something that forces engagement, like a Son of Arnor or Westfold Outrider, but that hasn't been released yet, that can be problematic because the threat builds up in the staging area. So you really need to get through quickly. Regardless, this worked out much better than I was expecting it to. Yes, Shadow of the Past. Very handy card. I didn't get to use it in the manner that I usually would, or certainly in the manner in which I usually like to use it, which is to... Sorry, I had to sneeze. To return the Ithilien Guardians when they go as shadow cards, and thus end up with all the rangers under my control. But it can be useful just because you take a location. pretty much always a location, maybe a forest bat, because that gets instantly killed by Thalin. And then it having gone as a shadow card or been killed, you then return it to the top of the deck, and you're left with one card of the next round's staging being known to you, which makes it easier. Out of the wild, of course, useful even outside of secrecy, especially when you have Ithilien, so you don't have to actually pay for it. Yeah, on the other hand, this encounter deck, fairly horrific. Watcher in the Wood, Southern Support, and blocking wargs. It's somewhat notable that blocking wargs can be fairly horrific, to be honest, and yet it's still like the thing that I fear only the third most in this deck, after Water in the Wood and Southern Support. Regardless, I just made it through with a fairly dramatic score of 212. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I will, of course, be moving on to the Siege of Kerandros, which hopefully won't be quite as horrible to deal with as this was. Goodbye.